Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
Whoa, let's start the show. Welcome to Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
And I'm Veronica.
And this is episode 130. Yeah!
Dirty 130.
We're here. And that song got me hype, yo. Like most songs do.
I forgot how good that song. Also, like, we always talk about, like, how sometimes we don't know, like, usually we're good with artists and stuff with songs. I'm like, Rob Thomas. I didn't know that that's who sang this.
Yeah, a little Matchbox 20 on your ass.
Yeah.
You know, I was saying before the show, there was a song that came out, like, within the last, like, 5, maybe even, I don't know, 10 years, that has this melody. And they redid it, and it was a huge song on the radio, and I couldn't.
Drive me crazy.
And it would drive me crazy when it was like, I'm like, what is this melody from? And now, fast forward to 2020, I've come across this song, and I'm like, this is the song that song was singing the melody of. And now I can't think of the new song that sang. So now, if you guys are out there screaming at me, like, I know that song, I know that melody. Let us know because like
it will drive us nuts. We're probably going to try to Google it.
I'm going to try to Google it when you're talking a lot. So anyways, Veronica, how are you doing?
You know,
we had a long talk before this show. You've had better weeks. I have had better weeks.
I have had better weeks.
But I feel like you know, some things we just can't talk about on this show because they're for us, you know. They will bleed in one way or another when the wound is not so fresh, you know, if you want to consider it a wound. But yeah, I think I feel good about the conversation. I feel like, you know, yeah, I don't know. You tell me how you're doing.
I mean, I've had better weeks. I feel like I'm starting to peek through some of the clouds, you know?
Yeah.
But of the darkness. But it's just, I feel like I've also just been stressed with, like, you know, adult things and work and just life. But, like, I have a lot to be thankful for as well. I try to, like, weekly, like, my planner has this area in it that's called, like, good things that happened. And I really try to, like, write out those, like, even if they're as little as, like, had a phone call with my friend Michelle or, like, whatever. Like, I like to really, like, take stock because, like, even when I'm having, like, really shitty weeks or, like, something bad happens or whatever, like, I know there's a ton of things in my life I can be grateful for. So, like, I try to do that, but also, like, let myself feel my feelings about the shitty stuff.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I think that's going to be a topic that we kind of dive more into in our main topic of the week later on in the show. But what have you been up to in the last week besides peeking through the clouds?
Well, Virgo season is fully here. I was celebrating my girl Clarissa's birthday this past weekend. We did dinner at Barcelona. I had a lot of tapas on the patio. It was great.
I love the way you say all these words. Barcelona, tapas.
If I was really, I could be like Barcelona. That's like how because it's like they make that like TH sound, Barcelona. And we got some drinks afterwards. Great time. And then we went to the safari thing, which I did not know existed in Georgia. Like, I feel like this is a very Florida thing. Like, you know, I feel like all of this kind of like drive-through safari stuff seems more Florida-ish to me than Georgia. But like, there's like an hour and a half outside of the city, there's this place that is like, it's called like Wild Animal Safari. Really creative name. And you could either rent these like busted ass vans or like go on like a big bus tour, or you could just bring your own car through. And so we went with her friend Justin. He has a nice ass truck. I've never been a girl that likes trucks, but this truck made me like trucks. It was just a beautiful vehicle.
Is it just like big?
It was big. There was a lot of room in the back. Like, I always volunteer to sit bitch, which is, you know, that middle seat in the back.
Yeah.
Because I'm always like, I'm pretty small. I'm used to it. I'm a backseat baller, whatever. And I volunteered to sit bitch, but it was the most comfortable I've ever been sitting bitch.
I honestly think my next whip will be a big truck. Like Chef has one, and I'm just like, no, this thing. The only problem is it's great for you, but like you end up being like the person that has to help every time someone needs to move something big. It just is. Can I borrow your truck? Or like, no, you can't borrow my truck. But, you know, here I am needing to borrow a truck sometimes. So I really want that Tesla truck, though. That one looked cool.
Really, I think it looks like a protractor.
Here, while you were talking, I Googled the interpolated version that was the new version that was on the radio of Matchbox 20's Rob Thomas's Lonely No More. And it was done by the British group Rixton. And their single was called Me and My Broken Heart.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have known the brand Rixton. No. I think they got a number one hit.
It sounds familiar. Like I
this
feel
is
like
back in 2014, so.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen like their logo.
Yeah, and
like
it was the funny. Actually, Rob Thomas is listed as a writer with Benny Blanco on this song.
On their song?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So it is pretty interesting. Look what you learn here on Future Bachelor every week, Thursdays. Well, you know, that's cool. You get into anything else besides
No, I mean, like had a little movie night with my friends Amy and Morgan, and then that we watched I Feel Pretty, which we'll talk a little bit later about Emrata, but
I like that movie. Hold on. Wait, no. That's the wrong
Schumer.
No. I was thinking a different one.
Are you thinking about the like rom-com one, the one that like does satire on rom-coms?
Yeah, that one was good. But that one was
Rebel Wilson.
Yeah, but Nick Jonas's wife was the girl in that one.
Oh, Priyanka Chopra, yeah. Speaking, it is Nick Jonas's birthday today. Happy birthday to him.
I love how
my
like
life is fine.
Yeah, that used to be a bigger deal for you, the Nick Jonas birthday.
You know,
we all grow up sometimes. I don't celebrate Taylor Hanson's birthday anymore. So
I mean, I'm not celebrating his birthday. I know it's his birthday.
Okay.
If I wish there was some Villa One at Greens, I would have bought his tequila instead. I had to get
there's the old V. Anyways, that's cool. Well, this weekend.
What did you do, Si?
I didn't. Well, thanks for asking. I this weekend didn't do too much. I don't think. Oh, you know what I did do? I got tattoo. You know I say it like that because I got tattoo of them.
I knew it. I'm so happy I got the joke before you even had to explain it.
Yo, you know what it is. But you know, it was, you know, my first time getting multiple tats on a day. What did you think? What do you think? Do you think that makes me more badass?
I guess. It makes you more efficient.
Hell yeah. Well, it's also a better deal when you get two tattoos at once. They have separate prices, but they give you a little bulk deal when you go in for two. But
that makes sense because it's like timing, I'm sure. Because instead, like of having to like book out different times.
But I'll tell you what, getting one on your rib, like I got this lighthouse on my
like a bitch, right?
Yeah, dude, and it's like all black, like and halfway through it, yeah.
Oh.
So halfway in. My tattoo art, I'm like, my arm is raised. My arm is starting to like kind of spasm because it's been up. And I'm like, it has to be almost over. And I am crying. Like, you know, like little baby tears.
Just like
you know, where you're just like
Lauren Conrad, like mascara, little tear happening.
You just go into a different place in your head. You think about all the worst things, all the people I've been through. And you're like, and I'm paying for this. Like, you know?
Yeah, you're like, I'm doing this on purpose.
Yeah, I came here like, you know, excited. What am I crying about? But yeah, so there I am crying, and I'm just like, this has to be almost done. I'm like, hey, how we doing over there? And he's like, yeah, we're like halfway done. I'm like, no. Yo, I never get used to this shit. Like, I don't like getting tattoos. I just forget how much they hurt. And so I got a lighthouse. Like there's this little lighthouse that was on this shirt I have from my dad's old dentistry practice, and I got that on my side. And then I got Lucia written out in like letters down the back of my left leg. Lucia is my mom's middle name and my sister's middle name. It's kind of complicated like now, but when my mom got married to my dad, she took my dad's first name as her middle name and then gave her middle name to my sister. She was given Lucia as the middle name by her sisters and stuff, but now it's all like whatever. I just like the name Lucia because it reminds me of the most important women in my life. So that's what I got. I got some tats on Friday. I went and did a little bonfire on Friday. I we were gonna meet up and stuff, but that didn't work out. And then and then on Saturday I ended up filming a little video for my trainer at the gym, which I used the drone inside. It looked like a little Nike ad. It was cool, and I put the Drake song. It. Yeah, so it was cool. I was pretty productive, And then that's pretty much all I did, and just prepping for recording a video for a new song. And I've been still working on music throughout the week and stuff. So that's pretty much all I've been doing.
What is this new song about? Are you gonna tease it? Or?
Oh, it'll probably be a slapper of the week coming up here soon. But I've been working on like some really good video with a really good video friend of mine that's wanting to do all these like visuals for us. So it's gonna be cool. I'm like really excited about it. The song's fire. I've given you like a preview of it before, but
you have. Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I almost forgot what these things sound like. But we're gonna take a flight to Quick Hits. What do we got for some Quick Hits, V?
Well, Kanye is back at it again with the white vans, but that is a deep one. That was a
deep cut.
But yes,
Kanye's on one.
Kanye's on one. He is on the tweeting spree. He is been going on and on about getting him and Drake and Kendrick and J. Cole all in a room, kind of like resurfacing some of their beef, but also like wanting to like bring them all together. And then the main stuff that he's been doing the past couple of days is going into like all the legalities of record contracts and like putting all of like his contracts and everything like up on his tweets, and even like talking about everything to the point of like he's like, I'm serious about this, like this is like modern day slavery and like whatever. And it shows him, then he had a tweet of him peeing on one of his Grammys, to be like, this is how serious I am about how record deals and like record companies are enslaving us. Like, this is nothing. This means nothing.
I'm kind of like, out of all the rants and all the craziness, like this one right here is something I'm kind of like feeling a shift in like corporations happening right now. Mm-hmm. Kanye's such a money generator for all these different corporations that I'd be a little frustrated too, with kind of like the current state of affairs of how business works. Like, I don't think we're living in a world right now where we have to, you can agree to certain terms, like this is how much money I'm gonna make for this deal, but like people like Kanye are like kind of stepping forward and being like pioneers, I guess, and essentially of looking like the crazy person to be like, look, these contracts are bullshit. Why do we have to put everything like, dude, it's 2020. Can we talk in layman's terms? Like sometimes like make things more like, understandable in contracts, or, also like, he was talking about wanting to get in a room with like Drake, Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Jay-Z, if they all get in a room and have conversations about business and the culture and how, this could really like really shake up things in companies like, like record companies, Spotify, streaming companies, YouTube, like, anything. Because if these people choose to be like, we're no longer going to be like creating you guys billions of dollars and not like gonna have a seat on the board of any of these companies. Like, you're telling me that white dude sitting on a chair in this company for Adidas is making more money than Kanye, who's actually like out here doing the work, like, and creating the hype for this stuff, and he doesn't have any like control of being like, I don't know. Like, to me, it's kind of, it makes sense to me. I think, There's a lot of different things happening right now in content that are interesting to me that kind of resonate with this topic. Like, I'm not just seeing Kanye being crazy right now. I'm seeing like Joe Rogan getting, upwards of like $250 million for a contract for, licensing his show for 3 years. I'm looking at like Joe Budden leaving he was like one of the first exclusive people to have an exclusive deal for podcasts with a big company like Spotify. And now why is he leaving? Like, it's just these companies are, and we'll talk about it more when we talk about our main topic later, but like we're all just pieces to these companies to just sell us things and use us to make money so they get richer and we just are not like any of the wiser. So I want to say like this podcast, we've talked about like digital streaming platforms in the past and stuff, but I do want to be on the forefront of like what could happen. You guys are listening in real time. Future Bachelor, you see our growth, you see where we started, you see the guests we're starting to get on here and stuff. This is all slowly and incremental, but at some point we are the people that are in charge of our worth and what we're worth and what we're wanting to do and how much we're going to make and what we're going to and I think it's super important for content creators to kind of like read between the lines for like big money producers like Kanye. Yes, it will make you a crazy person that you say things, but like if you can read between the lines, I think there's a little sense to be made here. I think there's power in people getting together and talking. What do you think?
I think so. I think there definitely is, like, especially with Kanye has his own like different production companies, Jay-Z, all these people like have like different pieces already of like this larger industry. I actually saw, and also Russ did some tweets about kind of along the same thread of this conversation of like, we could never like, Nipsey was out here like putting out like mixtapes and things and like having people buy them for like big money. And he's like, why is like, we've been trained to like think that like something that's like music's very valuable to pretty much everybody I know. I mean, it's super valuable to you and me, like you, because it's like something you enjoy doing. And for me as like a consumer and like as someone who enjoys like the feelings and the value that music brings to our lives is so huge. But like we could never, because of like how systems are at play, like we can't like fathom playing like more than $20 for an album. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it's like, but we pay like $1,000 for like a Supreme sweatshirt. I wouldn't personally,
right?
But like that's that's kind of like the fucked up thing.
Is if you want to set your price, like and be like, I'm worth this, like Kanye always has. Then that's your price. Like, what I'm saying? Like, you let everyone else call you crazy for whatever, but like it's not unattainable for him. Like, honestly, it's just like look at his track record. So yeah, I mean, you could look at this as another crazy rant. I'm looking at this as like, a kind of a check in my head to kind of I don't know. I think it goes down to even things like when we're negotiating like a new contract with work, or like if we're, even trying to get a new job or something like that. People tell you like, this is the price. What is your price to, sit for 8 hours and give that attention to a company, 52 weeks a year? It's like 5 days a week. It's to me, it's got me considering even on that basic level, right?
Yeah.
What is really worth, and also like, I think like we'll always survive. Like, I don't think like me and you are the type of people, I think we can put a worth on ourselves and be worth all that, So what else we got?
Yeah, so Chance the Rapper is going to be on Justin Bieber's new song, Holy, that is releasing on Friday. And like, it's supposed to be part of this new era. Like even, Scooter Braun and whoever have been promoting this new era of Justin Bieber, which I'm interested to see how that's going to be different from
Yummy.
his most. Yeah, from like Yummy and from like Changes, that album
Girl,
that he
you
released,
so holy, holy,
holy,
holy,
holy,
holy.
which like, so he released Changes, like I guess technically that was the top of this year, which like that seems like so long ago.
Yeah, and I mean this is kind of like Justin Bieber's thing though. Like I don't feel like he had like a hot one, but I don't think he's never been the dude that always had the singles that were gonna like be popping. Like he's just like,
no, like he used to
he's
have
more
good,
of a pop star than for like his likeness than he is actually for his music, I feel like.
which like he had like, I mean, I think about Purpose was an incredible album from him. So was Journals. Journals was slept on, that's for sure. But incredible like full albums, great. But I feel like I don't even remember a damn thing about Changes besides Yummy, which felt like it was like barely made sense for the rest of the album.
I think we picked one for a slapper.
Did we?
Yeah, it was the Post Malone one that he had.
Oh yes.
I think that might have been for 100th episode actually. So what the fuck?
Yeah, but like we barely were February. Yeah, that was February.
I mean, dude, we're reaching for like today's slapper is not like anything brand new. So I'll tell you what, guys. We're just picking good songs now for y'all to listen to.
But anyways, he'll have this new music video that I guess will probably have Chance in it or as well or whatever. That's done by the director who directed Colin Tilley, who directed WAP music video. So this guy's getting some of these big artists for some music videos, so he must be doing some good work.
Yeah, it sounds like the type of guy that's really good at like one location shoots, like really making them look great, like, grandiose. Yeah. What else we got on here?
So Chris Evans, otherwise known as Captain America, or is like America's ass, if you remember that part of the movies and his booty. Yeah. I definitely do.
Wait a second. Why is Chris Evans in the news? I really need to know, Veronica, why?
He accidentally flashed a nude.
What? Wow, dude, he got 4 sound effects on that one. Yo, so this is what I got from what happened. Dude puts out a post. What happened was CE was putting out a post on IG or something like that, and apparently like it was a video, like when you record your screen. And I'm the type of person that always crops out the showing you that I'm recording it and then showing you at the end of it that I stopped recording it. But a lot of people, you'll see videos go viral that like someone's screenshotting it and that goes viral. So he essentially showed that, but like at the end of his video, just at the very end, very quickly, you see a very quick flash of his camera roll, and people immediately screenshotted that, even though they deleted it like just as fast as it went up.
I actually haven't looked hard enough to see the actual.
So what was seen on there, that the two things that I saw was a weird picture of himself. Like, why do you have that picture of yourself? Like a weird meme. And then the second one was a picture of a penis.
A dick.
It was what?
He had a dick pic.
All right, cool. I called it, what the science books call it, but
okay.
Yeah, it was essentially a dick pic. So he wasn't in it. It was just a picture of a penis. Which
we could talk for days about.
Allegedly, it was his, but well, this is the thing.
Who's to say? Why else? Okay, but I would have more questions if he just had somebody else's dick pic on his
But why is
camera.
that so surprising, Veronica? If I went through your camera roll, I'm sure I would see a science object or two.
You would not.
She said.
No, you would not.
Okay, well, moms.
Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder. Well, yeah, no, I think something funny that I saw him spin. It was like, now that I got your attention, make sure you go out and vote November 4th.
Make sure you go out and vote. Yeah, and Mark Ruffalo was all like, hey man, like, don't, like, with our president, like, that we have right now, there's no way you could be any more embarrassing than that. So, like, don't you worry.
Mark Ruffalo always be saying too much,
I love Mark Ruffalo.
Oh man, Mark Ruffalo reminds me of the one dude that's just so excited to be at the party. Like he's like just like everyone else is cool at the party, they're expected to be there, but Mark Ruffalo is like the one that was like, yo, this party is sick, right? Yo, yeah, that's him. Chris Evans. Well, so since we're talking about Avengers, your boy Paul Rudd has been. Yeah, let's go from America's ass to America's aunt, and Ant-Man. Yeah, I don't know. That one was kind of whack. That fatality one was an accident, but I kind of deserved it. So
Paul Rudd.
I saw the PSA he did. What did you think?
It.
Yeah.
I personally love Paul Rudd. Like, I love Paul Rudd with my whole heart. He is just like, something about him just really makes me just so warm and fuzzy inside. And so he partnered with New York State and First We Feast, which has the Hot Ones and stuff which he has a very famous meme from now, look at us. Who would have thought? But he did a whole PSA because he looks pretty youthful. So he it's him as a certified young person.
Yeah. Doing all these cringy things.
Yeah. Which I love because it's so on brand for him. I love it.
He's like, you're going to be my bae. It's going to get lit.
Yeah.
He's dabbing.
So
and
wear
shit.
a mask. Yeah. It's all about him, about wearing a mask because, New York State's being millennials are the biggest carriers of this, and millennials should wear a mask. And I was like, yeah, and it's all the college kids too, but that's fine. Gen Z. But
yeah, I mean, you really have to I don't want to wear a mask either, but I don't also want to feel like the only person without a mask. You know what I'm saying? I guess I'm the Mark Ruffalo of masks wearing.
Oh my God.
I'm just joking. That probably didn't make any sense, but sometimes you got to go for the jokes, Well, yeah, I thought it was funny, and then at the end of it, he got kind of serious. He's like, just wear the freaking mask. And then he's eating wings wearing a mask. So that was kind of the disgusting part. But anyways, let's talk about one of my favorite people to look at. Maybe not to really listen to, but what do we got here, V?
So Rada, otherwise known as, supermodel Emily Ratajkowski, who I personally have always just not been into her shtick because she's very much so I wouldn't have my job if I didn't look so hot, blah, 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 what was me. But she did this big essay for The Cut that goes into how she's done things buy herself back. She's a huge model, huge in the modeling world, and has so many photos, things everywhere. And it goes kind of into how it all kind of started when she got sued for posting a paparazzi photo of herself on her Instagram story. And she was getting sued, tons of money for it. And then also there was this photo of her in this gallery that it's it was an outtake from her Instagram, and how, she wanted to buy it, but the pretty much the artist and stuff is a big collector is looking at it. So you can't, and she's it's my own, it's me. It's my whole thing. And then it goes into even more about just kind of the relationship and uncomfortable positions that she's been put in before with different photographers or things like that. So it's just it's made me look at her in a different light because it's so easy for me as a normal girl who sees people obsessing over her, especially she's a very unattainable body type. And what she stands for and whatever, but it's put into a different light of kind of what we were talking about with the whole music thing. It's her body and her likeness and her, her modeling is used and sold and, used all over the place. And she can, because of the powers that be, she has a hard time, even consuming and obtaining her own work that she wants for herself, because it's her and she's proud of it and whatever. So it's definitely interesting because like I've never thought about it that way. Like I think about all these models. Like I've always been into fashion and I've always been into models, and I think about, their life seems pretty glamorous. Like they get to go and be in magazines and be in fashion shows and like whatever. But it's like they can barely like even enjoy their own work because they can't even, because of like all the different walls that go around it.
Yeah, I mean, you're having me think like just like this was something I was thinking about before because I've been on Hinge now like almost 3 months or whatever, and I've talked to a lot of girls on there and stuff, but like dating I think is just hard for everybody. It doesn't matter like how pretty you are, because even when you're like super hot, you probably have like everybody coming at you, and maybe you don't think these people are like up to you. You're like, whatever. Like it's all a matter of perception of like how our lives have come to be to this certain point. So it's like when it comes to someone like Emerada, like it's like her whole life. I can't imagine what it's like to be such a hot girl. Like, and then, people cannot even take you seriously. Like, sometimes it's hard for me, like in the presence of a beautiful girl, to even just like, just treat like a person. You're just like so enamored by someone. Sometimes you're just like, it's just a different thing, like, and like, as I grow up, I'm trying to not like, judge people off of things like that. But like, I can feel like, it's just like, it's got to be hard sometimes for even pretty people.
Well, and especially like something that she talks about is like kind of like how she like have been put into different situations with like, photographers or different people, like men who like then because of like her job and because of her looks think that she owes them, something, or that she can be like, because like her body is like she is comfortable like naked and things like that, but then like they get to be a part of that. So it's very interesting to think about, because like obviously like models can be like some very unattainable, very like people that we can put up on pedestals, but like they are still humans. So yeah.
And I can't imagine what it would be like to have a body like that, and then like you can't eat like anything. Like you don't think she's just like eating anything, like, right? Like she's like she would have to starve herself. Like there's legit like an indent in the middle of her stomach. Like
she literally is like concave, but like she also
has like
says
the
like
biggest boobs, and like it's like
she's like always looked like that though. Like has older photos of her from when she was like a teenager. She's literally always looked the same. So I don't know.
But anyways, so in news that we probably could have seen coming, it was just any day. Cardi B files for divorce from Offset of the Migos. And the biggest thing right now, I think a big theme in just life is like nothing is ever what it seems. And if you were looking at Cardi B and Offset in probably the last year, you would have seen like people being like goals, hashtag goals, like with these people and stuff. And it's just not the case. Like, from the beginning of their relationship, there's been like talks or like rumors of infidelity on Offset's side, and here comes more rumors, and Cardi's like, I mean, to go for like breakup rumors is one thing, but to go straight for the divorce, like this has to be like pretty final. Like she would look super stupid again. She's already taken him back once for the same reason, right? After they just had a baby. Yeah. And she names the kid after like his album. Like, so, she's about to drop probably some new music after having the hottest song out, WAP.
Yeah, I think she has a song coming out this upcoming Friday. I forget what it's called. I just saw it pop up on my Instagram feed.
Is it by herself or featuring someone?
Yeah, it looks like kind of like an up and coming artist, but Yeah, but it's like, and so she definitely, at first, like some of the filings of it were having it like that she wanted sole custody of Culture, but she like wants it to be like as amicable, like as it can be, like for them to have joint custody. And like she also is like out here being like, I don't need any of his financial support for Culture, which I was like, damn. But she's got that Cardi money. She doesn't need like Offset's money. Like, she's like, nah, like, I can do it by
I'm thinking
myself.
it's more of like, I hope they sign a prenuptial agreement because it would be like he would be making more money off of her, I think.
Oh, for sure.
So,
For sure.
But yeah, I think, I don't know. Like, she just needs to pick. I mean, she's going to probably have everybody sliding in DMs trying to get with her. I just think she could do better than that. And she's actually like, for where Cardi came from to where Cardi is right now, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I think she's dope.
I love Cardi.
I mean, I like seeing people grow. I like seeing people like not being the same, like, and she loves to stand up against anyone that wants to assume anything about her. So,
Yeah, and she's so genuine. She's like very much so like she tells you what she gets done on her body. She tells you where she's come from. She tells you like she's like this is who I am. This is what I'm gonna do. And like yeah, she came from like ratchet shit. And she's like I'm still kind of ratchet, but like I'm bougie ratchet now.
Yeah. Well, do we have anything else?
Just quick other thing. My girl Halsey is gonna have her debut acting role in this series. It's going to be called The Players Table. It's based on a book called They Wish They Were Us, which is going to be, she's going to co-star with Sydney Sweeney, who's known for her role in Euphoria. And it's actually with like her production company that she started called 50/50 Films. And it looks, I mean, Sydney Sweeney and Halsey are some of the hottest women I've ever seen. And they like just dropped like this whole like photo shoot of them together, and I'm just like, this isn't fair. So I'm excited for this series because it looks like it's gonna be just a thirst trap after thirst trap.
Word. Speaking, just did you see like Addison Rae is gonna be in the remake of She's All That?
Yeah, she is. Yes.
So they're essentially what they did with like what did they do with the one with Tahari and
with Taraji P Henson, where it was like what is it like?
What women want, and they ended up changing it to what men want, and they're doing the same thing with this. So now it's like Freddie Prinze Jr. movie. I'm sure they're gonna be involved with it because what I think it's gonna be, it's like Addison Rae is gonna be like the Freddie Prinze Jr. She's probably gonna take some nerdy dude.
Yeah.
He's all that, and turn him into a hot piece of ass that he already was. Probably one of those like Bryce. Yeah,
probably one of these
Brents.
like e-boy types, I'm sure. Yeah.
So be seeing that coming out. I'll probably watch it.
I think it's interesting. I'm excited.
What made you go yikes this week, V? Something? Anything?
J.K. Rowling doesn't know when to quit, is what I'm gonna say. She doesn't know when to quit.
She doesn't know when to Harry stop her.
Boo. Oh, come on.
It was a shot. It was a shot. So what does she do now?
So she has these crime books, I guess, that she writes under a different pseudonym, whatever, but it's her book. And it's going to be talking about this serial killer that is pretty much like a cross-dresser or transgender, like is a man wearing women's clothing, etc. But it's like very much so like presented in a way of where it's like they're cross-dressing. It's very like scandalous, whatever. But it's also like pushing her transphobic narrative that she loves to push, because it's like putting out there that trans people are dangerous, which is a bigger issue, which, when we think about the whole bathroom issues and everything like that, where people are all like, I don't want, this man in a women's bathroom. And it's like, no, like they're a woman, like they are a trans woman, like they're not like, and that was like, pretty much it's pushing that same transphobic narrative of being like, these people are dangerous, which is not okay.
Yeah. Well,
She's
especially
really,
knowing just like her thoughts on it, right?
yeah, especially knowing that she fully like is transphobic, doesn't care or believe in trans people's lives, and like has a whole bunch of other like I think some of these like have some sort of very like graphic scenes relating to trans people and like how, their treatment and things like that, and it's just very much so like, sis, like what are you doing? Also
Yeah.
to her publishers, like why are we doing this? Like
Yeah.
why are we what
I
are we
mean,
doing here?
well, I wanted to ask a quick question. How do you feel about like guys and girls going to like guys and girl doctors? Like,
What do you think of that?
like, do you feel more comfortable going to a woman doctor than you would a
I
man
mean,
doctor, or do you think a guy should feel the same way? Or
I feel like it, it's all about comfort and preference. Like, cause like I think so. Like for me, for like gynecologists, like I have had a male gynecologist before, and I currently have a female gynecologist. But like, I don't think I'd feel like overly uncomfortable to have a male gynecologist. I would
do you
just
think it's
be
all right
like,
for someone to feel comfortable with like, a same-sex doctor? Like if it's gonna be like a physical or something like that.
it's like it. So wait, repeat what you just
Like,
asked.
do you think it's bad? Like if someone was like, I'd rather have a guy doctor. If a guy was like that, or a girl was like, I'd rather have a girl doctor.
I don't think that's bad. I think it's like comfort and preference. Like I think that's okay.
Okay, quick question. A thing that made talking about other yikes moments. Did you see that? What is it? Cuties or something like that on Netflix that came out.
Yes, Cuties. That's been it's been a buzzing in the intersphere. So it's like this movie on Netflix. I haven't watched it personally, but it just what the main critics' issues is it's like shows like the sexualization, hypersexualization of young girls. Like these young girls like are in this like dancing, twerking troupe and like other things. I could probably find out a better, more thing about it, but people are like kind of being like, why are we promoting this? Like, why are we pushing this out as like this kind of narrative, etc. And I think I feel like I heard some people like have like mixed reactions and thoughts being like, okay, I see what they were trying to do. Like I see that they were trying to like maybe make commentary on that, but it came off in a bad way. Or some people
I think it's more of just people being force fed like, really fast of what's actually happening like around us every day,
Yeah.
The cringy part to me about like, I mean, I'm not going to watch it, but like the cringy part to me is like you were saying about J.K. Rowling and the publishing, like how does it even get that far? It's like the cringy part of me is like the creation of this movie, not the the movie itself, but like how many girls probably had to like be like audition, to like
and
be
like be filmed.
what it was like
and,
the audition, like and the people filming like having to like zoom in on these girls like twerking and stuff like that, and there's like a whole production around like and Netflix like even to put it
and
out.
like they're all minors, like it's all like it
like
gets
the
really
parents
fuzzy.
like the parents were okay with all of this, like so that's like kind of where like I'm like, what the hell is going on, more than the actual movie itself, But so yikes. Well, why don't we get into our topic of
our mini main
topic? Essentially, like our opening song was talking about. So we're gonna talk about loneliness and the times we're in right now. And we didn't actually pick that song or this topic because of the song or the topic. We started the show.
We're just that good.
We're like, look, we picked this song about loneliness, and then we're talking about it. So, essentially, I think it's an interesting thing to talk about right now because we're all been isolated for months. And I really don't see it going back to normal. Like, it is what it is now. I don't even know. Like, even when there are concerts, people are still going to go to the concerts, but then come back home and act like they didn't go to that concert that week and still act like, the pandemic's happening. That's our new normal, I feel like. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. That's the way I see it. Like, I don't think people are just going to, like, inch back out. Like, I don't think I don't know. Like, it'd be weird to think about like the mask going away. But with all that being said, we're inside of our apartments. I've gotten very comfortable in my routine I've talked about for weeks and months here in my apartment. But I don't think I was talking about dating earlier, and that's something that I feel like, as a, single straight guy, like I like, dating and doing all that stuff. It's just, that's why I'm putting myself out there. But it's not really because I'm lonely. I don't necessarily feel the loneliness right now. Not like totally, I feel like, but I can see how someone would. And seeing like how people post on social media right now, and seeing other people like living their lives or might be with other people, how could that be affecting you and your perspective and your outlook on life? So how have you been dabbling? Have you felt loneliness in the last?
Yeah. So I feel like for me, loneliness is almost like it's like almost like a constant background. It's like a different kind of loneliness than I think I've ever experienced before. But it's like a different kind of like background feeling almost. Like it's like kind of like always like back there and can either be drawn out with different situations or not. And I guess to explain that, like my current living situation, I have a roommate. For parts of this quarantine, she was gone back in Florida for like probably several weeks to a month at a time. And those times and that was like during the more like height of stuff, like, some stuff opening up, some people are getting more comfortable, like seeing people like outdoors doing whatever. But like some of those were at the height. So it's like, I was fully like in this house by myself, just working and doing whatever. And I feel like in relation, so now it's like stuff is like state by state, town by town, stuff's like kind of opening up, stuff's looking different. Like you're seeing people like doing shit and you're like, oh, and then you're like here and you're like, oh. And then I feel like in relation to relationships, I think it's easier right now to almost like let stuff, because you've gone onto Hinge. I've been in and out of the dating apps here and there. But I think it's easier right now to feel like you're grasping for like some sort of connection in that sense, like whether it's even just like you're pen paling, or maybe you kind of like have some sort of situationship and like you might let some shit slide more often than not because you worry about the loneliness of not having that there, because it's fulfilling, maybe that missing piece that like in a normal situation, you'd be able to like run around, go out, be interacting with people on a more daily basis.
Yeah. I think two things kind of like, I've been seeing when it comes to loneliness or people that might not be experiencing it because they have someone. I think, yes, COVID has made it very hard to find somebody, maybe even friends, like, just even how do you even like build a relationship with someone like right now? Like even as friends, like I see my friends like maybe like once a month, if lucky, like, because we all kind of like are set in our own things going on, our own silos or our own lives that we want to like do, like we're actually able to do. But also I think just dating is harder now too.
So hard.
Achoo!
Bless you.
I think that
wow.
might be my second sneeze in 130
that was
episodes.
Yeah, I think that's like only the second sneeze of ever on this podcast.
Wow. So 2 sneeze. Yeah, I think or 2 chews. I'm really shooting with these jokes this week.
You really are. I don't know.
No, I just think it's harder for people to get into relationships, and it's definitely even harder now because of COVID. And I think people are very lucky and could very easily take for granted that they have someone, that they were able to find someone before the last decade or like within, before the last 5 years have happened, I feel like. because dating just changed. I feel like the implement of the dating app has changed the just the dynamic of how dating actually goes. Like what I don't like about the dating app is like I feel like I have to be something more than like, hi Jennifer, I'm Sai, how are you doing? Like, or how are things these days? Like that's just how I would introduce myself. But I feel like on the app it would be like you have to be like creative or something, and like I don't know, like I just can't like be like this creative like at 40 girls on Hinge, like, you know, it's just like I'll get creative.
Flex.
Yeah, a little flex, like what I was saying. So but I said 40, I was being modest. But you know, what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, it just feels like it's hard to just like build relationships. I understand why people are lonely, but do you think loneliness is like something you feel, or is it like a state that you're in? Like you're just lonely, is like alone?
I feel like there's levels to it, because like I feel like you can be lonely and not alone. And I feel like that's kind of how I am, because like a lot of times I'm not alone, or like even virtually I'm not alone. Like, I mean, like I talk to you and I see you, or I have like my out of town friends and I talk to them and I see them, but or like whatever. And I talk, whatever, stuff like that. But like, I can still feel lonely, even though I know I have like all these people around me. And I think it gets to a point where now it's like, because we're not having like, those like in-person interactions, or like whatever, like what you're saying with the dating side, like obviously both of us like prefer to like meet someone in the wild, or like through people or whatever, because like it just feels like a more natural way to like getting to know them, because you could just be like, hey, like whatever, and it's just like a more natural feeling way to do it. And I feel like we're losing a lot of like our natural interactions right now. Like we don't have like, we're not running into people out and about much, because like we're not all out and about much. We're not like, you know, we're not being able to travel as much. We can't be in giant groups and we can't do these things. So it's like, it's easier to feel lonely right now, because like we're just like the actual connections and like interactions we have are so much smaller, or so much different and more manufactured almost, you know, like you have to like plan time to like FaceTime a friend, or like you have to like do whatever. Like it's just kind of like everything feels like it's not as natural.
Yeah,
I
honestly, I think you touched on a point that I kind of want to dive more into, because like I'm saying, like I've never been more alone, but I've definitely felt more lonely before. And I've felt more lonely around people, like, you know, if that makes any sense. Like,
no, that's so real.
How
really
is that?
real.
How is what like? Let's talk about that more. How would you describe loneliness when you got like you're always around people? What would like be like reasons to make you feel lonely?
You can feel lonely because like you don't feel like you're actually like, you don't feel like you actually have like a connection or stuff with those people. You could be surrounded, you could be at a party and you could be surrounded by a ton of people, and that could be like the loneliest moment for you, because like you don't feel like maybe you have actual connections with those people. You don't feel like, you know, what that's happening there is natural or real, or like actually like adding value to you. Like you can, like, I feel like sometimes I've even felt lonely in maybe even in relationships.
That's
like
what I was going to get to next. I was like, how do you feel lonely in relationships?
And that's usually like a telling sign. If you feel lonely in your relationship, that means that like there's a disconnect. That means like something isn't clicking anymore. Like I feel like your loneliness comes from like when you think that somebody isn't understanding or isn't there for you anymore or isn't connecting with you. That's when I think loneliness hops in. And like that's why I feel like, especially when it comes to dating, like sometimes we're even just grasping at like right now, like we're grasping at like just even someone to talk to and connect with, even if it is like literally just texting, or if it's like someone to like hook up with, whatever. Cause then we're like, all right, that's like fulfilling a teensy piece of like my loneliness, because like I'm having that like actual connection with them, and like whatever that means to you. But like I think like you can like in a relationship or in friendships feel super lonely if there's that disconnect, if like you're like, like we actually aren't meshing, like we actually aren't there for each other, like this isn't, we're just two people in a room together.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, yeah, like sleeping in the same bed with someone and feeling alone. That would
It's
be
a real
the word.
thing.
Yeah, that would be a terrible feeling. Yeah, I don't know. Like so what are like things that one does if they're feeling lonely?
Whew. I mean, like I think basics are reaching out to those people that don't make you feel lonely. So like I mean, I have a couple of my really good friends that don't live here. And so like I try to talk to them on the phone, FaceTime them, text them here and there whenever I'm feeling like lonely. Or, I try to hang out with my actual friends here that, I'm close with and that know me. Or sometimes I feel like my loneliness can also just be like, maybe it's tied to homesickness. Like then I'll like, call my mom or whatever. But like those are like all like those kinds of ways of doing that. I don't know. I'm sure there's like other ways to like mentally go through stuff in your mind of like figuring out, how to solve that feeling or like that.
What do you think the
state.
loneliest day of the week is?
Oh God, is this a joke? I feel like
No,
I
it's
should
not
know.
a joke. It's actually the opposite. It's just a really sad point of conversation. Like, is it more sad to be alone on Friday night, or more sad to be alone on a Saturday night, or a Sunday night, or
A Sunday,
Monday night?
See, and this like reminds me of like I think one of the other podcasts that I listened to. Like, yeah, they talk about like like who would you rather have? Would you rather have like that Friday night person or somebody who wants to be there with you on Sunday night or like whatever Sunday morning?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh fuck, I guess I don't know. Like I feel like I've had plenty of good Friday nights in by myself, but I've also had like some really like shitty Friday nights in by myself. It's like I don't know what's the loneliest. What do you feel like is the loneliest for you? Like, do you get lonely? I hate Tuesdays. I've talked about how much I hate Tuesdays. Fucking hate Tuesdays.
That's just a
Tuesdays
funny thing to randomly say. Well, I definitely think I think Saturday night. No, I think Friday night could be the loneliest night. Maybe, I mean, if you had a lonely Friday, Saturday will definitely be even lonelier. But I'm saying, like, more of just because, like, at the end of the week, you're like, all right, I'm ready for, to do things. And then it's like 7, 8 o'clock. No one's hit you up to do anything. And and then you get on your phone, for an hour because it's 8 o'clock. And you're noticing that everyone's been doing something for 2 hours. And you're just like, damn. Yeah. So then you go to bed, you wake up, and you're like, all right, this is good. Now I feel good. I know I feel better than those people. But then there's like, damn, like, how are those people up earlier than me? What's going on? So then it's like a really lonely morning. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. To me, like, let's close this loneliness conversation out with how much do you think loneliness is caused by ourselves? Like from things we do.
I don't know if I can put like a percentage on it, but
I would say it's probably higher than anything else, actually. Like,
which I feel
like how, like, I'm like saying, like the circumstances you put yourself in. Sometimes, like, you feel the most alone, but like if you think about the steps of how you got to being that feeling that alone, it's majority of the time things you've done to yourself, like maybe like unknowingly. Subconsciously, you just went down a path that got you here. But it's decisions like you probably knew you could have made a better one, right?
Yeah. I can see that. I feel like definitely, I feel like you can also be, I feel like some of it is like you, so decisions that you make, but it's also like who you're surrounding yourself with, like are they making you feel lonely because like either they're not including you or you don't actually have real connections with them or whatever. And it's like, and like sometimes like that could be on them because it's like, what are they doing in that situation? And then I also feel like there's like, in this situation, there's outside factors. Like we can't control how this pandemic has changed our daily lifestyle. Like that's not something like we can super control. And it's definitely like creating this feeling of being alone, even though like I've seen a tweet that like said something of like feel really like I'm sure a lot of people feel really alone in this like or lonely in this like whatever, and they feel like they are not doing well enough or they're not doing whatever. It's like, but we all are experiencing very similar things right now.
Sure.
But like
I think to kind of counter that though, and the reason why I think I'm doing better than I mean there's circumstances, me, there's circumstances where you would think I would be lonely maybe, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm not. I swear to God, I'm not. Like I don't feel lonely at all. And
swear to God.
I swear.
Hand to God, I am not lonely. Don't come for my ass.
Don't come for my. I'm not alone. But with that being said, like I just want to say, like I think it's because like I put myself out there to do things sometimes that I don't want to do. Like there's things sometimes like I could like off the top of my head I'm thinking of just like 3-4 random people that have issues, maybe feel like they're like I don't know, like lonely, or they're like, oh, nobody wants me or something like that. And then you think about it, it's like they're doing things that they're probably used to doing, and they're not pushing themselves outside of a boundary that they're uncomfortable with. Like even down to like dating, like what I noticed about like a lot of people and just like interactions, like people, like I try to put myself out there with if I'm conversating with a girl, but like if she's not up to like just like even try something new, or like like for me, if my friend invites me to go out and it's not like something I would typically do, it's like 7 or 8 at night and I'm like, ugh. But like, then I'm going to complain about being lonely. Like, it's like I don't have to go out and get wasted, but I could still go out and meet my friend and like have some like, interaction and try, that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, sometimes I think we put up some walls on ourselves and we don't push through them enough. Because we don't want to feel uncomfortable. We want to stay in our comfort zone,
I agree with that.
So yeah, I think I when I find myself being lonely, sometimes I find myself like not even like taking up on offers of like people wanting to interact with me. It's just like might not be the person I thought would be asking me to hang out, but it's like they're asking me to go grab a bite to eat. It's like, just go, like, just go grab a bite to eat with that person. And who knows, like, and the more I've leaned into those type of things, like, I do not feel lonely,
Yeah.
It's like there's people out there, like, I mean, people that want to get to know you, people that want to hear how you're doing and all the things you're doing, and I would just say, like, try something different, that when it comes to the dating apps, they have like the friend finder feature of it, and I used to think that was weird, but now like it's even hard to just make friends. So it's like if you're out there like trying to make a friend on a friend app, like that, more power to you. That's like really cool. Like that's you like not wanting to be lonely. You know what I'm saying? So interesting conversation. Do you have any last thoughts?
I think it's trying times for all of us out there for various different reasons. And I think it's okay to feel lonely sometimes. And I think it's okay to, sit in that feeling and like feel it fully. But yeah, I think there is sometimes like you don't always have to say yes to stuff, but I think there is some ways that you could sometimes like don't let the loneliness, like don't let that consume you.
Yeah, like for example, when I first moved to Atlanta, I felt alone. Like you probably feel alone most like when you get to a new place, right?
Yeah, I felt very alone when I moved here. I didn't know anybody.
Right. So like you move here, and also you just don't know like what's popping. You don't know what's going out. You don't know anybody. So it's like at first, yeah, I felt lonely, but it wasn't until like I actually like put myself out there to meet somebody new here in Atlanta and like go out with them a couple weekends, and you know, it wasn't my thing maybe, but like it started becoming my thing, you know, and it just like it helped. So, you know, try to put yourself out there sometimes. Like loneliness can put you in a moment where you're like, poor me, you know, you maybe want a little pity, you maybe want a little bit of this, maybe and it feels good like when people like, you know, console you and kind of pat you on the back, but sometimes you got to be that for yourself.
Amen.
Word. So, cool. Do we have any Bachelor updates?
Hell yeah, we do.
She said, hell yeah, we do. Okay, what do we got?
So Cassie has filed a restraining order and has been granted a temporary restraining order against her ex-boyfriend, Colton Underwood, former Bachelor.
Wow. At first, I thought this was like an exaggeration.
No, but it looks real.
It looks kind of legit. Like, what is your perspective of this situation? She's claiming that he put a tracking device on her car because, you know, jealousy of like her hanging out with an ex-boyfriend, showing up randomly at like her house or something, just to be like, I was in the neighborhood or something like that.
Yeah, and this is like all after they've been broken up, and they like supposedly broke up on like good terms. Like, you know, like stuff happened towards the end of the relationship that they're like, we're just like better off friends, whatever. But it seems like, and like there's been a lot of like texts that she put in the restraining order and whatever from him that were kind of like, you know, what was stuff that they were saying. It's like, one of the texts, like he allegedly called her a selfish person who isn't ready to be loved, said something with, I spent 2 years loving you the best I could, and now I'm sitting here feeling like a fool. And then like sending,
that's normal
using,
breakup
like,
stuff.
And then like using like other alias phone numbers and stuff like that to send her friends in her harassing text messages, like, supposedly, allegedly. But yeah, the whole tracking device thing on the car seems kind of creepy. Seems like kind of wild.
It all seems, but like we have to say allegedly. Anybody could put a tracker on the car and make Colton look like a creep, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. But
you know, if he's like coming, if they can prove that he's the one sending like creepy ass like stalker text messages to her and her friends to freak them out and stuff, like that's not cool. But I'm gonna psychoanalyze this situation real quick. I'm gonna put on my I don't know even know the word, but
psych hat. Yeah,
whatever. Put my name in the word, and that's the hat I'm putting on.
They call me
the brown hat. But yeah, I'm gonna say, like, looking at the whole situation as a whole, Colton probably hasn't had like the most mature relationships. You know, judging by the fact, not saying that you being a virgin means you can't have a mature relationship, but I think there's like things that go into it. Like if he did end up having sex with like Cassie, I could see like, I remember the first time I, like how obsessed I was with that girl, like, you know, and it, like now, like as an adult, I'm like, how was I so, like, for years, like, you know, and I get it. Like you just love people. Like you just like you. It's hard to let people go, and breakups are hard. You know, very hard, especially for guys. Like I think it's hard for guys because, and this is my bias as a guy. You'll probably counter me on the other, but I just feel like for girls, it's easier to just like bounce, not bounce back. What do they call it? A rebound. It's easier to rebound for girls, I feel like. Whether that's just finding some guy, because guys just love girls, like, you know.
Guys just love girls.
They do. I just think it's like, you know, I can't just go out one night and be like a guy and like all these girls want to have sex with me. I feel like a girl could go out there and be like, all these guys want to have sex with them. Right?
Potentially. Yeah, I guess.
So I just think it, like, in that sense, it's like a little easier for someone to be able to like put their mind off of like a breakup. Like that stuff kind of distracts you from like the current like situation. I'm not saying it's like she's not going through her own stuff, but I could see like, and he's sitting here being like, but I'm the Bachelor, like, you know, I don't know. I could see him just like, and her being like kind of hypersensitive maybe to like, you know, being like, stop, you're being annoying at this point, and which.
Well, and I could see it could also speak to something maybe because like, yeah, maybe
the media is getting involved where she's like more like mad at him for things like that are getting blown out of proportion, like him wanting to add her as a chapter in his new like tell-all book or some shit, like, you know, there's a bunch of factors here that I think about. So like, it'll be interesting, you know. That's a pretty dark claim on somebody, you know. It has
well, and she got it, like she has a temporary restraining order.
I mean
right now.
So there had to have been some type of proof of him doing something. So
yeah,
you know, whether or not, yeah, it's pretty serious. So I just think people need to just chill. Like, it's really hard. It's too easy to communicate with people these days. That's why you just end up getting yourself in more trouble by just like, you know, block a person. Like when I preach about like me saying like I block people or I unmute people or mute people or like I do it all the time. Like if I'm like feeling a certain way, I'm just gonna like mute you. Like when I'm done, I'm not gonna like if I'm first, I'll unmute people because I don't like to hold things forever. But like, but if I'm not, like, you're still gonna be muted. Like it's just like out of sight, out of mind type stuff. And I think a lot more people need to practice that. You know. Have more. I
agree. And I also feel like with knowing just Colton's behavior with media and like with like he always seemed to be someone who was like super obsessed with social media and stuff like that. I think like the fame and everything like that, I think he might need to like see someone to kind of like work out some of that kind of stuff, and that might be contributing to his behaviors and like everything that might be going on between them. And I feel like it's definitely like just the impact of that kind of fame.
Anything else? Like, how did Caitlyn do first week of Dancing with Stars?
I think she did pretty well. I know all I know from that is that I think Carol Baskin got the lowest score of the night. So
she's going home.
I think so. Probably. I don't know how.
Or that like Carol Baskin's ex or like dead husband's family pulled an ad during.
They pulled an ad during it. Hilarious.
Yeah. Interesting move. Well, shoot. Why don't we get into our slapper of the week? Like we said earlier in the show, I didn't even tell you because like it's just a song I've been listening to. I played it around you a couple times. It's a song I've been like looking up music videos because I'm getting into music video mode with my own music. And just getting inspired by ones. And this song I think is from like 2014, and it's this Canadian artist named Monsune. He's like this Asian kid, it looks like, and the video is really good. The song's called Nothing in Return. I don't know much about him except he doesn't have much music, but this song is a vibe, and it's our slapper of the week. So without further ado, our slapper of the week is Nothing in Return by Monsune. Let's go.
Slapper of the week. This song slaps.
Slapper of the week. Nothing in Return. Monsune. It's a vibe. Yes. So I hope you guys enjoyed that because it's been one of my faves lately.
It's very beachy.
Yeah, right? It's something, you know, little... I don't know. It's something I play in
It's like, I feel like, you know, end of summer kind of like... It's like very chill.
It's
like
a very chill and fun video, too, so check it out on YouTube.
Seems like a good road trip song, you know?
It's a
like
goodie.
you're
It's a goodie.
coasting.
It's an oldie but a goodie. Do you have any shout-outs this week, V?
Yes. I wanted to shout out my grandmother, Grandmoo, as we like to call her because she loves cows, for her birthday. Wanted to shout out my friend Caleb.
I gotta get there to that cow moo for a sound effect.
Oh yeah, we do. Moo, yeah. My friend Caleb, he just welcomed his little baby boy, him and his wife Kristen, so congrats to them. And then I wanted to shout out my friend Katie McCusker because, you know, she saw her first cockroach in her apartment ever since she moved to Georgia, and she survived it. And I'm proud of her for that.
I actually Googled why do cockroaches like die on their back. Do you know why?
I don't really know why, but why?
I'm just joking. I don't know either. I just think that they're top heavy, and I think because of the pesticide or something.
Why did you lie about Googling it?
I did Google it. I just didn't really like read into it. Like it was like this long, drawn out thing.
Was it Google for naught? You just literally Googled it and then said, "Fuck your answers."
Well, the gist of it is, I think that they end up becoming top heavy. Like their top half is like heavier, and they end up just croaking on their back.
Yeah, because of the pressure.
Just a lot of roach things have been like you saying that roach story lately in the last 2 years. Like I haven't seen like, I mean, you see your roaches around here and stuff, but I've been seeing like a lot more lately. And I was asking my neighbors, I'm like, have you guys been seeing like a lot more like roaches around here? And they're like, yes. So that's been happening. But I also follow this one girl that she is like freaking out on her apartment complex right now because like the same things I'm dealing with in my apartment complex, and I just like kill them and like move on. I'm like, yes, it's kind of annoying and like, oh shit, like, but it's like it doesn't last forever. And she's like freaking out about it right now and like going to war with her, and she's losing, because she has a lot of cockroaches in her apartment. So
well, most of these like apartment complexes and stuff like that around here will do pest control. Like they come and spray every couple of months or whatever. Like every place I've ever lived does that, and here in Atlanta has done something like that.
It doesn't get all of them always. So
no, no, they're hardy. I think that's what I hate about
some slip
cockroaches.
through the cracks. Get it? They do.
I think that's what I hate about cockroaches is that like I know like if they were smart enough, they could take over the world because they just like don't fucking die.
Oh,
they only die. That's why it's so lame that they die by like if they accidentally get on their back, then they're donezo.
Yeah.
But like if, otherwise like they could survive a nuclear blast practically. Like what? Like how?
Yeah, when we all die of like radiation, they'll still be crawling to Earth.
Yeah, but if God forbid they topple over, they're done.
Yeah. I wanted to shout out no one this week.
I love that you really committed to this.
What?
You literally are like, I have no one to shout out. I'm like, no one? And you're like, no one. No one has done it.
No one deserves a shout out this week. No one did anything that I haven't shout out. And like, I could shout out the same people every week because they're other people that deserve shout outs, but I can't be just shouting out like my same 3 people every week. Just look like a loser. So none of you get shout outs. Prove something to me. Do something that's like shout out worthy. Y'all step it up out there.
I love this. Now like any of your friends are gonna be like, what the fuck?
Nah, man, do something. Like be a real friend. Do something. Like I hope I'm gonna start doing more things. Like if I'm gonna do things in people's lives where if they had a shout out, I'd expect a shout out on their podcast. So. That's the way we should live.
Seems like kind of a fucked up way to.
No, dude, treat people like they got podcasts and a shout out section on their podcast. You know what I'm saying? That's the true meaning of life. Or you should just do
it from the bottom of your fucking heart, Si.
Yeah, but if you're gonna do it from the bottom of your heart, make it shout out worthy. That's all I'm trying to say.
Jesus Christ!
Right, well, I'm gonna give myself a shout out now just because of that.
Oh my God!
Shout out to me. Well, that was our episode, guys. I hope you had fun. I think we've been doing really good with our interviews. I've been seeing like a lot more traction on YouTube. I'm learning how to use our Twitter, get our YouTube out there. So we've been getting we're up 300% on YouTube in the last 2 weeks. So make sure you're following, subscribing there. Full episodes.
Subscribe. Rate, review, subscribe everywhere you can.
You don't really get the music experience of Future Bachelor on YouTube because they be, demonetizing
copyright.
us. Yeah. But yeah, essentially we're gonna keep killing it, man. 130, we're here. I can't believe we're
3130.
3130 next week. Well, guys, if you're feeling lonely,
listen to us.
Yeah, just listen to us. We got 130 episodes of us just talking to you about all your woes and everything you need to know. So, and if you are legit feeling lonely, just reach out to me. If you're feeling lonely, you could be next week's shout out. I don't have to not shout out anyone or myself.
Yeah. There you go.
If you're feeling lonely, be my shout out, please. But just do something. Like, I mean, you don't have to do much. If you're feeling lonely, all you have to do is say, like, hey, Sai. And I'll be like, you get a shout out. I can tell. All right, guys. Well, this has been our episode. It's been Future Bachelor. My name is Sai.
I'm Veronica.
And we love you. See you next week. Deuces.
Bye.
Future Bachelor Podcast.